Hey, how are y'all doing? My name is Brittany and let's talk about books. It's raining outside and it's really windy and my summer has abruptly come to an end weather-wise, which is really depressing. I'm hoping the sun comes back soon, but it's just really gross out there. And we actually had a huge storm the other day, which sucks, but it's just gross out there. So I'm sorry if you can hear the wind or if you can hear the rain, but I just wanted to film a video, so let's just get started. So today I'm going to be filming my July and August wrap up. I did film a July wrap up, but I just never got around to editing it and posting it, so I'm just gonna quickly talk about it right now. So let's get started. So all my books are falling down. I read a total of 6 books in July, so let's just get started. So the first 3 books that I read was The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I know in my July wrap-up, I know that in my July TBR, I started off with the second book, but I had read The Summer I Turned Pretty before filming that video, because I uploaded that on the 4th, I think. So, yes, but I read The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. So I read all 3 of them and I loved them very, very much. I gave Summer I Turned Pretty 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I gave It's Not Summer Without You 5 out of 5 stars. And I gave We'll Always Have Summer 4 out of 5 stars. So I think it's safe to say that the second book was my favorite, but I loved the whole series. I just had a few issues with it at the end here, but yeah. So this was the first 3 books that I read in July. Then I picked up a reread, and that was Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I absolutely adored this book when I read it for the first time last year, and I definitely loved it again when I reread it this year. It's just the perfect summer read, and if you guys have yet to pick up a Morgan Matson book, what are you doing with your life? She is one of my favorite authors of all time, and I highly recommend that you pick up her books. They were great. So definitely 5 out of 5 stars the second time, just as it was the first time. Then I picked up Who We Are by One Direction. It's their autobiography, and I read this in preparation for my One Direction concert on July 17th, and I loved it very, very much. As you can see, I tagged quite a number of things. I didn't really tag anything in Zayn's section except for the odd photo with the other bandmates in it, and maybe a few little like quotes. But Zayn is no longer in the band. I did like some weird accent there. He's no longer in the band, which kind of sucks, but you know, that means that Niall gets more solos, which I'm super happy about. If you guys have not listened to their newest song, Drag Me Down, I highly recommend you listen to it because they're on point and they are so cute, and in the video they are all so smiley and it's wonderful and they look so happy, and yeah. But I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously One Direction is my favorite band. Then the last book that I read was The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks. This completed one of my TBR challenges for read a book by an author you love. I did pick it out in my TBR video for July, so I'll leave that linked down below. But yes, it was a fantastic read. I definitely recommend it, and all of his other books as well. He's an amazing author. I also recommend the movie. That was really good as well. This was a 5 out of 5 stars, as his books normally are, so highly recommend this one. So that is all the books that I read in July, and now let's go on to August. So the first book that I read was for the Booktubeathon, and that was Broken Hearts, Fences, and Other Things to Mend by Katie Finn. I can't remember what challenge this completed. In somewhere. I just don't know where it is. But this completed a challenge. I don't know. If I remember, I'll put an annotation somewhere saying what challenge these books completed if I don't remember, but I highly recommend this book. Katie Finn is Morgan Matson under a different name, and this book was fantastic. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was beautiful, and I loved it very, very much. Great, perfect book to read in summertime. It's really good. Then I picked up A Work in Progress by Connor Franta, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 as well. This is a memoir by a very popular YouTuber, like I already said, Connor Franta. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. I'm sure all of you already know who he is, and I'm sure you're all subscribed to him, but if you aren't, check him out, because he was one of the first YouTubers that I loved, and so I obviously had to pick up his book. I don't have a physical copy to show you because I did borrow it, but it was fantastic. And then the next book that I read was Alive by Scott Sigler. This book was also fantastic. I had a really good reading month these past 2 months, but this was such a good book. Great start to a series, and I highly recommend it. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars for one specific reason. Mainly because I did not connect to the characters in the way that I would normally like to connect to a character. They just weren't very relatable, or because they don't really know who they are, because they wake up in coffins, so they know nothing about themselves, so we know nothing about them, and it's just very hard to connect to a character when you know nothing about them. So that's the only reason why I docked 0.5 off of this book, but I feel like that's a lot of people's problem with this book, is that you can't really connect to the characters. But it was a great book nonetheless. The story was fantastic, and I cannot wait for the second book coming out, I believe, in February, so I'm really, really excited. And as you can see, I also tabbed a couple of things, so yeah, highly recommend this one. And then the last book that I read for the booktubeathon was Unite Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the bind-up collection of novellas. Destroy Me is in Warner's point of view, Fracture Me is in Adam's point of view, and I highly recommend you read this. If you've read the series, or if you're currently reading the series, or if you plan on reading the series, read this book. It is so much fun to see what the other two people, Warner and Adam, it's fun to see what they are up to while, you know, my thoughts are making no sense right now. It's just really fun to get into Warner and Adam's minds and just see what they're thinking, and to see what they're doing when Juliet is not around, particularly Warner, because in Adam's story, Juliet is around for most of it. But yeah, so you can see I tabbed a few things as well in this. It was fantastic, as always. Tahereh Mafi's writing is beautiful, and this was a 5 out of 5 stars. And then I picked up Revenge, Ice Cream, and Other Things by Served Cold. This is a library book, and this is the sequel to Broken Hearts, Fences, and Other Things to Mend. And I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this one even more than the first one, and the cliffhanger at the end just killed me. And now I have to wait till 2017 to get the last book. What's it called? Now I have to wait until 2017 to get Hearts, Fingers, and Other Things to Cross. And I'm not okay with that. I need the 3rd book now, and it's just killing me. It's killing me. But yes, I highly recommend this one, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think I already mentioned that. I don't know. And then I picked up The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. This was just in my recent book haul, so I'll link that down below as well. I just remembered that I made a booktubeathon TBR, and I talked about those books and what challenges they would complete. So I'll link that down below so you can go check that out and see what challenges they completed. Okay, back to this book. So I read The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. 5 out of 5 stars. This book was so beautiful and fantastic. And I read Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin, which I loved. I read that last year, like in March, and I'm so glad that I picked this book up because it was wonderful. Basically, it's all about books and book lovers, and it's just wonderful. So if you love books, and if you're a book lover, if you like books about books, then read this. Like, totally recommend it. It is fantastic. It's inspirational, it's beautiful, it's beautifully written, it's just wonderful, and the characters are great. And as you can see, I tabbed so much in it, and I wrote so many notes on it, and I maybe will do a review on this one. I'm really bad with reviews, so I'm either going to post a video review or put one on Goodreads. So yes, but this book was freaking fantastic, and I highly recommend it that all of you read it. And the last book that I read was The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page. Yes, I finally finished it, and I was kind of disappointed. This was the only book that disappointed me throughout these past 2 months. This was the only one that disappointed me. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is terrible because I gave the first one 5 out of 5 stars. I think it was one of my favorite books of last year, and this book just did not live up to the expectations that I had because of the first book. It was just not good, and I think that I'm gonna post a review of this one. Maybe I'll do a mashup review of these two, just because I don't feel like filming separate reviews. But this book was just so disappointing. I mean, I still enjoyed it, which is why I gave it 3.5, but it just was not as good. Not as good. It was pretty boring, but I did tap a few things, and I did write quite a few notes on it, but I don't even know. So then I started 2 books, or continued 2 books this month. So the first one that I actually picked up a couple of months ago, I don't know if I ever mentioned it in any of my videos, but that is Flawless by Sarah Shepard. I picked this up a few months ago, and I put it back down. But I picked it up again this month after the Pretty Little Liars season finale, where we found out who A was, and I was kind of like in a Pretty Little Liars mood and a Pretty Little Liars hangover, and I just needed to do something Pretty Little Liars, so I decided to pick up the book because that's more beneficial than picking up the TV show and watching that again. So I got to page 70, and then I had to put it down again because I found something more interesting. I'm pretty sure that book was Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, but these books are so difficult to read, especially if you love the TV show, because they're just so different, and they're just not very good. And I feel really bad that I made my grandma buy these for me for Christmas a couple years ago, because I'm just not enjoying them, and I definitely do not see myself reading the rest of the series. I plan on reading this and the next 2 books. So the first 4 books I hope to read, but I do not think that I'm going to be reading past that. They're just not very good at all. Just no. And the other book that I actually just picked up yesterday or the day before, I picked up The Iron Trial by, 2 days ago. I picked up The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, and the reason why I picked this one up was because I had the option to either pick up this book or this book to try and finish them by the end of August, and I decided to go with this one because this one was more interesting than that one, and I got not very far. I got to page 16. Yep, using my little Luna Lovegood. And it's good, nothing really has happened yet, and yeah. I'm gonna read it in September. I'm not even going to try and finish it today. I'm not in a reading mood today. I just need to do stuff for back to school, unfortunately. But this book will get finished in September for Bookish September, which I'll talk about in my September TBR that I will most likely be filming right after this one. But so I did do a TBR jar pick in my August TBR, but I never posted it. But it was read a book with 300 plus pages, and for that I am going with Revenge, Ice Cream and Other Things Best Served Cold by Katie Finn. So this challenge was completed, and I'll be picking up another book from my challenge. I'm going to be picking another challenge from my TBR jar for September. So look forward to that. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.